1910 Philadelphia Athletics, Chicago Cubs. It's getting close to baseball season. I'm very excited. I love baseball so much. What a weird, mushy game. People love the numbers. There's just statistics and numbers going back 100 years, but it's so funny to even explain what they mean. You have to kind of give people context, like, well, back then they were spitting on the ball, or back then everybody did drugs and looked like the Incredible Hulk. There's always some reason for the numbers to be the way they are. It's such a story-based game. And I'm just going to say, it was not a good World Series hitting home runs this time. I'm actually going to talk about the games a little bit. All right, 1910, the Philadelphia Athletics, led by Connie Mack, make it to their second World Series. They lost to the evil John McGraw and the New York Giants in 1905. I kind of pictured Connie Mack as like a necromancer kind of guy. Like, can you imagine kind of get like raises up his team of soldiers and like, you'll find this in the World Series history a couple times. He has a dynasty team with the Athletics, and like the instant they let him down, he just like banishes them to the nether realm. It's kind of evil and cool. And the Chicago Cubs, this is the Frank Chance Cubs that we saw in 6, 7, and 8 that dominated the Detroit Tigers, an offensive powerhouse in the National League, as well as one of the best pitching teams of all time, had the best record up against this Athletics team. This is an interesting one. If you followed how the Cubs performed against the Tigers in 1907 and 1908 versus this is it's kind of confounding, actually. The Athletics can hit the ball. We'll just say that. They can pound that thing. I mean, game one belonged to the Athletics. They got off to a quick lead and they just held it throughout the game. Frank Baker, 3 hits, 2 RBI. The pitcher, Chief Bender, freak name, an RBI himself, 1 hit through 8 innings. Fantastic. Game 2 is pretty fun. There's an award ceremony before the game in Philadelphia. They're giving away a Chalmers automobile to the batting title champion the previous year, Ty Cobb from the Tigers, who was a notorious jerk who didn't even show up to the event. But Cobb, not really popular with his teammates, constantly fighting with him. A contentious contest for the batting title in 1910 between Nap Lovejoy from the Cleveland Naps. These are named after, that's the most French guy you could be possibly. Your name's Lovejoy, and then like that's not French enough, so you call yourself Napoleon. Pretty cool, actually. I like it. Cobb wins the batting title. He's so unpopular with his teammates, they send a congratulatory telegram to LaJoy. So they award this car to Ty Cobb's friend, if he has one, before the game. Jack Combs in this series. Jack Combs, pitcher for the Athletics. 3 starts in this series. Game 2, he starts. Combs is a little shaky in this one, but 14 runners left on base for the Cubs. Did not capitalize. The A's get a 6-run rally in the 7th. Mordecai Brown, the lobster-handed boy from the Cubs, gives up 13 hits, 9 runs over 7 innings. Just gets beat on. Oof, rough. A's win again in Game 3, 12-5. I mean, we're tied at 3 after the 3rd inning, and then a 5-run rally in the top of the 3rd for the A's. Jack Combs pitching again on 2 days rest, starts 2 games in a row, unhittable after this. Cubs do pull a couple runs off on a pass ball. There's a home run by A's outfielder Danny Murphy in the 3rd inning. It's part of their rally that erupts into a little bit of a row on the field where Frank Chance, the manager of the Cubs, is like the 2nd person ever ejected from a World Series. But the A's pull ahead, they're up 3-0. 16 hits in the game for the A's, 7 for the Cubs, an offensive explosion by both teams. Jack Barry, shortstop for the A's, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. The pitcher, again, contributing to his own win. Jack Holmes, also 3 RBIs. I mean, half the runs come from those 2 players. Fantastic. Cubs pull off a win, though, in Game 4 by 1 run in 10 innings with the rain out the day before. Cubs believed some sign stealing was going on, so they switched their catcher Johnny Kling out for Jimmy Archer, who would be the first guy to play for a team in both leagues in the World Series. The Tigers in 1907 and the Cubs in 1910. There's a rally by the Athletics in the 3rd inning where their outfielder Amos Strunk. That sounds awful. Strunk. That sounds like something falling to the ground. Sadly, Amos Strunk. Dude hits a triple, drives in a run, slides past 3rd base and gets tagged out, runs already in. Coincidence or not, he doesn't start the next game for some reason. That seems kind of a dumb play. We go into the bottom of the 9th. Manager, first baseman Frank Chance gets hit by a pitch on the finger, complains they do not accept that he's hit by the pitch, and then angrily slugs a triple, and the game is tied and we go into extra innings. Then the Cubs walk it off in the 10th on a single by left fielder Jimmy Sheckard that drives home the catcher Jimmy Archer. So the Cubs get a game. Game 5, the A's are up 2-1 in the 8th, and then everything just falls apart for the Cubs, and there goes the World Series. Starts with a safe call on a contested stolen base at second by Topsy Hartzell. And then the A's, a couple doubles in a row, a single, another stolen base. Cubs managed to get a runner out at home, but Mordecai Brown, his first walk in the 8th inning, unfortunately, and then boom, a triple by Danny Murphy. A couple Cubs make bad defensive plays on this. Second baseman Heine Zimmerman, starting in place for the injured Johnny Evers, lets the ball get past him, and then Solly Hoffman in center field makes a terrible throw. And then a wild pitch scores another one for a 5-run rally, and the World Series goes to the Philadelphia Athletics. They win their first one, and we tip off a dynasty for the Athletics, and we end another one for Frank Chance and the Cubs. This was the year that Tinker Evers did a Chance poem too, 1910, and they didn't even play in the series because Evers was injured. So they didn't even get to do any of their cool double plays. But they have a guy named Heine Zimmerman, so at least they found a kind of a weird name to replace him with. Jack Combs from the A's, probably the series MVP with 3 complete game wins. 3.33 ERA for Combs, but it matters. The Athletics, the best offensive performance in the World Series history up to this point. Pitching was great for the A's too. Chief Bender, 1.93 ERA and a couple of complete game starts. Danny Murphy batting .400. Frank Baker, 409. Eddie Collins, 429. Just they're pounding the Cubs. 9 RBIs for Danny Murphy and the only home run of the series. Offensively, he got maybe a little bit of a claim to the MVP. Big offensive addition to the Athletics this season. Hall of Famer Eddie Collins at second base, 429, 4 doubles, 3 RBI. This is surprising, given how good the Cubs pitching was. And in the series against the Tigers in 7 and 8, Mordecai Brown, Orville Overall, Ed Rulebach. They have a young pitcher named King Cole. Isn't that like a fairy tale name guy? Or a soul singer or something. I don't know what's up with that. The ERA is just bad for all of them. I mean, King Cole, okay, 3.38, but reliever Harry McIntyre, 6.75. Mordecai Brown, 5.5. Orville overall, 9.0. And Ed Rulebach, 13.5. This fantastic Cubs pitching staff just got roughed up by these A's, man. Orville overall. Didn't help that their offense didn't really show up either. I mean, Harry Steinfeld, who had been their star in previous years, bats .100, makes 3 errors on the field. A couple bright spots in their offense. Frank Chance bats .353 with 4 RBI. Their offensive MVP for the season, Frank Wildfire Schulte, batting .412, 3 doubles, 2 RBI. Don't know how you got the nickname Wildfire. That's such a cool guy nickname. You seem like you have to be kind of a wild, cool dude to do that. They got a lot of hits. There was 1 home run. I love home runs, but there was a lot of hits. The Athletics are good. They killed the Cubs. The Cubs pitching was so good in the previous years, and they got completely destroyed by the Athletics batting order. Bunch of weirdo names on these A's too. Topsy Hartzell, Amos Strunk, Briss Lord. Well, Chief Bender is that's an intensely cool name. 2 starting pitchers throughout the series in 5 games. One of the few times that happens in series history. That's it for these Cubs, but let's get used to these Athletics because Connie Mack and this team is going to be back a few times. Looking creepy, wearing suits in the dugout. I think people should start wearing suits in the dugout again. I think that would be really cool. I promise to do better this season and to talk about the games more and not get distracted by how funny their names are. And I guess you call it the second season, 1910s or 19 teens. Teens sounds kind of horny. I don't like that.